And look at that, folks. 5.4 months of supply in Suffolk. Let me say it again. 5.4 months worth of supply in the city of Suffolk, Virginia. If you are thinking about buying or selling a home in the Hampton Roads area, then you want to watch this update. The real estate market is shifting fast. Are prices going higher? Will mortgage rates eventually ever drop? Should you buy now or wait till later? I'm going to answer all these questions in the January 2025 market update for Hampton Roads, where we go city by city and get you informed on what's going on around the town. You want to watch this video all the way through because this video could save you over thousands on your next real estate move. Let's jump into it. Welcome to the Moving in Norfolk channel. I'm your host, Craig Houston. And if you're thinking about making that move to Hampton Roads and you want to know everything that is about moving to Hampton Roads, you want to go ahead and subscribe to the channel and ring that notification bell so that way you can be the first to learn about any and everything that's going on in the Hampton Roads real estate market. And we get phone calls and texts from viewers just like you each and every day. Whether you're moving in 9 days or in 90 days, we're ready to assist you by making that smooth move to Hampton Roads. So feel free to give us a call, to shoot us a text, write us an email, or even book our video call segment down below on our calendar by using the link in the description below. And we look forward to helping you make that smooth move to Hampton Roads. Let's jump into our video today where we first start by talking about what's going on with mortgage rates in the marketplace right now. As of January 2025 market update, we're looking at these interest rates as for Mortgage News Daily as of February 7, 2025. You'll see the 30-year fix is currently sitting at about 7.03, and then you have the 15-year fix sitting at 6.42. Their 30-year jumbo is 7.31, and the 30-year FHA is at 6.39, and the 30-year VA is around 6.41. Now, what is the reasons what's going on with the rates that Mortgage Daily News has seen is saying that Friday brought the release of the big jobs report, which is historically more than likely than any other monthly economic report to cause the biggest pops and drops in mortgage rates. Today's installment can be filed under the pop category, but it was so quiet you may not have even heard it. In fact, the drop in rates seen earlier in the week ended up being slightly bigger. It resulted in a 0.06% move lower in the average lender's type tier 30-year fixed rate, while today's job report only caused a 0.03 move in other directions. The net effect is an average of 30-year fixed rate remains just barely over 7%. Despite the relatively small movement today, it's plain to see the rates continue to favor reacting to economic data rather than news headlines. With that in mind, next week brings the only other economic report capable of competing with the big jobs report, and that's going to be the CPI, the Consumer Price Index. CPI is the first of the two major inflation indices released by the government. Inflation is being watched very closely right now. The Fed has repeatedly stood it is comfortable with where the labor market is at, but needs to see more progress on inflation to resume rate cuts. Mortgage rates have a complicated relationship with the Fed funds rate over shorter time horizons, but they definitely move lower if inflation surprises to the downside next Wednesday. So there you have it. We already hear how this conversation is already starting to shape up for the January 2025 update. Is that we're seeing that the jobs report has not produced what the job market has thought was going to happen from the Fed itself, where they want to see the job market actually decline just a bit, where we have a lot more job openings, but right now the labor market is holding steadfast, which made the interest rates stay consistently where they're at, barely over 7. Now with the CPI data coming out, that's going to be our next influx. So let's look at what the estimates are for what they're thinking that the CPI data should come in at. So let's look over at what's going on with CPI and where we need to be watching the numbers come in at. Based on last year's numbers, you'll see, once I blow this up for you, that you'll see that CPI, when it came in with all items less food and energy, we was at about a 3.9, and then with all items included, we was at about a 3.1. So we need to come in a little bit less than 3.9 on all items less food and energy. And if you're including all items, we definitely need to come in below 3.1. So that data itself is something to pay attention to. If it goes higher, interest rates are going to stay higher longer. If it goes lower, then the Fed may reconsider actually they may need a couple more readings, but it may be the first installment of making them consider that they may be able to lessen the Fed fund rate just a little bit more to help the market actually ease on interest rates. But right now, I would expect that the market is actually going to see, with the new higher tariffs that have came in that's been imposed on Mexico and Canada that has been paused recently, that we may still see a higher inflation reading that's going to come in, and I think it's going to be just a tad bit higher than what the market expects, and in turn the market is going to expect for interest rates to go a little bit higher as well too. So we'll see how they price that in as of Monday, but I think this is what we're going to be sitting at when it comes down to it. So let's talk about housing inventory. I think this is where we're going to see a critical topic come up in discussion in today's video, is that the housing market is still seeing inventory increase. Check out on Housing Wire, who's been tracking the inventory levels since January 2020 to where we're currently at now 5 years later in January 2025. At the beginning of the pandemic, you can see that we were sitting at about 816,000 homes on the open market nationally. Right now, we're still below that threshold at about 634,000 homes on the market right now as well too. So we still are about almost 200,000 homes less than where we were 5 years ago. But here's the interesting thing that I like to see what's going on in the Hampton Roads market, is that when you're looking at the 2025 market review, we have about 5,094 homes on the market, and that symbolizes about 3.6 months worth of supply. But why is that so important? We've seen a 4.2% increase month over month from the month of December to January, of about 4.2% of homes actually coming onto the active market with the rest of the listings that was currently there. And then we've seen about a 40% increase in the month of supply of inventory, which means if no other home came on the market today and we exhausted all the homes by the average of pace of sales that we see in our market, you'll see that's about 3.6 months worth of inventory, which is surprising in this market because we've been settled around 1 to 2 months worth of inventory for a completely long time. Matter of fact, we're up 21.7% in the Hampton Roads market from January 2024 to currently at the end of January 2025. So we're starting to trend towards that actual buyer's market threshold, where you'll be in somewhere between 4 to 6 months worth of supply in the Hampton Roads market, which is a very surprising stat, which means that as the national inventory continues to increase, we're now starting to see Hampton Roads start to slide with it as well too, to the upside in more inventory. Now, why is inventory such a big thing? Because now it's starting to shift towards that buyer's market, which means that buyers have more opportunity, which means buyers have more selection. And that means that now if there was markets where sellers was predominantly getting their way when it comes to negotiations, those are starting to ease a bit. Some sellers may have to consider actually listening and negotiating a bit with the buyer who comes to the marketplace. Now, is there still going to be opportunities where multiple offers going to be driving in on certain homes and it's still going to be a seller market in certain neighborhoods? Of course. But right now, across the Hampton Roads area, there's enough inventory for buyers to be a little bit more selective. And you're going to see that impact the days on market across the board too. We'll come back to those, but I think that's what we really want to make sure that we shift our focus to, is that inventory is going to be a huge factor going forward in this market, and we need to see how that's going to play out and pace as interest rates continue to stay where they are. Are they going to stabilize around 7, or will they continue to try to figure out if they need to go higher or if they need to go lower? We need to determine that, and it depends on how much inventory is available, depends on, I believe, how the interest rates is going to move accordingly as well too. Let's jump into the Hampton Roads market and see what's really going on over there. Now, looking at the Hampton Roads market overall, this is encompassing all the counties, all 61 cities and counties in Hampton Roads and the major 7 cities in our market. You'll see that the median sales price is down 2.9%, down to $340,000. Month over month, and still up 7.2% year over year from January 2024. You'll see that we had about 1,427 transactions in the month of January, which is down about 25.9% from the month of December, which is down 4.4% from year over year growth. And then you'll see that the median days on market is up 7.7% month over month to 28 days and up 12% overall from January. And our average list to sale price ratio stayed the same month over month. And you'll see that the median sold price per square foot down by 1% as well, month over month, but still up 5.2%. New listings coming to the market. We've seen a 47.5% increase month over month in the month of December to January, where we've seen these many houses come across the market, and that's represents about 11% increase year over year. And we already spoke about the 4.2% increase of all active listings in the Hampton Roads market and the 3.6 month worth of supply, which represents about almost a 41% increase month over month as well too. Now, I think that it's really important that we talk about and break down these cities right now, because what's really going to make a standout educated decision for you as a buyer or a seller is to really see how unique our market is, especially if you're relocating to the area, of how the values change tremendously based on where you're looking at. So we're going to start with Virginia Beach, our major metropolitan city in the Hampton Roads area, out of the 7. And we'll talk about that one, then we'll just continue to move through these. Now, looking at your Virginia Beach numbers, you'll see that the Virginia Beach median sales price is down to $369,950, just right under $370,000, which is about down 1.5% month over month. The number of transactions in Virginia Beach represents 26% decline as well too. And the median days on market in Virginia Beach has now pushed up to 24 days, which is about a 4.3% increase year over year. And you'll see that the number of listings in Virginia Beach, new listings, is up almost 55% month over month and represents almost a 20% increase year over year. The 857 homes on active inventory in the market at the end of January represents about a 7.5% increase, which also looks at like a 33% increase in inventory in Virginia Beach. And that means that months of supply represents about 2.6 months if there was no transactions. There was nothing but transactions at the rapid pace that they're at right now with no new inventory coming to market. It's about 2.6 months worth of supply, which represents about almost a 47% increase in a month of supply month over month and almost a 27% increase year over year. I just want to stop right there real quick, okay? I realistically want to stop right there because I want to show how important that really means about these numbers. Let's go back and look at this Virginia Beach number again, okay? I want you to see the new listings, 570 new listings, but then I also want you to see 857 homes on the active market right now, which represents about a 32.9% increase. In January of 2024, we only had 645 homes on the market, and there was only 477 new listings that came to the market. So if we was just to go and look at year to date, you'll see these numbers are just tremendous right now. 231 to 217 year over year in a median sold per square foot. The median days on market is very consistent, and the number of settled transactions in this year over year shows very high consistency across the board in Virginia Beach. Virginia Beach has been very stable in our market right now, and that represents a huge triumph, in my opinion, that we're starting to see the inventory scale, but numbers stay the same. So this is why I always like to have this conversation with individuals about, do you really think that prices are going down? They could potentially go down at some point in time. You know, supply is a supply versus demand type of thing always. But right now, prices are holding steady, and now inventory is increasing. So this could symbolize maybe the market may be shifting just a bit in certain markets, but we have to be paying close attention, because as long as interest rates continue to stay where they are, then the price values are going to stay high in demand when there's not enough inventory to push them higher. So we have things playing at a balance with each other, and let's just keep on looking, because I want to look at Chesapeake next to kind of give you an idea of what's going on in that market as well. So let's pull up Chesapeake and see what we have here when it comes to it. Like, I want to pay attention to exactly how fast the market is actually shifting in that area. So let's look at that. You'll see that the median sales price month over month is down 3.1%, but up 18.7% year over year. You'll see the number of transactions was down 22% month over month, still up year over year. The median days on market down 25% year over year, but up 9.1% month over month. You'll see number of new listings is up 52%. 52% of new listings are on the market at the end of January for Chesapeake, where active inventory represented about a 20.6% increase year over year, with the monthly supply up to 3.3, a 34% increase month over month. Now, let's just pay attention to these totals as well too. Year to date, you'll see that in 2024, we've seen just about a $63,000 increase in median sales value in Chesapeake. The sale to transaction stayed about the same. They're basically even. You'll see the number of days on market decreased by 8 days in Chesapeake. You'll see that the median sold per square foot is up $12 more in the year 2025. And the inventory, you'll see new listings were about 45 new listings more this time around at this period of time. So that's interesting. Now, I want to I know a lot of people are always thinking about Norfolk, so let's go ahead and check out Norfolk as well. Give you an update on that one. So let's look at that. You'll see in Norfolk, we'll do just the percentages first. You'll see it's down 2% median sales price. You'll see that settled transactions are down 30%. You'll also see new listings are up 32% in Norfolk, and then you'll see active inventory up 2.2% month over month, but 13% year over year. And the average days of months of supply of inventory is up to 3.6 as well, similar to Chesapeake, which represents a 46% increase month over month, but also a 43% increase year over year. So looking at this year to date, you'll see the 2025 number shows that we're up $9,500 on median sales price. You'll see that the settled transactions has a diet of decline, about 43 less transactions this time around, 5 extra days on the market. And then you see the average new listings are just the same. There was no difference. 341. It stayed very consistent with the new listings across the board, which is amazing. Now, let's take a pause here because I really want to get into Suffolk. And I really want to know, comment down below, what do y'all think about the new boost of inventory that's coming to the market? Do you think that's a good thing for the Hampton Roads area? I really want to know what your take is. Do you think that's going to help the national market actually see the interest rates need to start to soften a bit? What do you think is going to happen with prices? I really want to know what your thoughts here. Now, the reason why I wanted to stop for a second and just talk about what I'm thinking here when it comes to Suffolk, because I'm looking at these numbers in real time with you guys, is that I believe Suffolk is going to surprise a lot of individuals. The sales price is going to be high. I think the median sales price is going to be high. I think the median days on market is going to be in the 20s, maybe even 30 days. And I think that the inventory is going to be surprisingly high in Suffolk. I mean, with new builds, resale, condos, all coming on the market, and Harborview being a big push right now, I'm starting to believe that Suffolk is going to be surprising in the numbers, but also it's going to be surprising in the inventory as well too. So let me go ahead and bring it on up for you guys. I'm going ahead and get Suffolk selected, and then we're going to compare it to year over year like we just did with the other ones. Let's look at it. So you'll see Suffolk's median sales price declined to 12% to 365, down 2.6% year over year. Wow. The number of transactions is actually down 30% in Suffolk. That's amazing. I'm surprised to see that. 30% down, 13% down year over year. I was right about the median days on market, up to about 30 days, 33 days, so which is about still an 8% decline year over year, but a 13% increase month over month from the month of December. And then you'll see that the active new listings on the market is up almost 50% in Suffolk, which is still represents about a 26% increase year over year. And the active inventory is at 557 active inventory, which is a 17% increase year to date. and a 5.5% increase month over month in the month of December. And look at that, folks. 5.4 months of supply in Suffolk. Let me say it again. 5.4 months worth of supply in the city of Suffolk, Virginia. And that's a 35% increase year to date and a 52.6% increase month to month. Folks, buyer's market is in Suffolk. Let me say it again. Buyer's market is in Suffolk. So where is the inventory? Suffolk. Where is the buyer's market? Suffolk. Is this going to be, how is this going to play out? I think this is tremendous information to actually take into consideration, especially if you're thinking about new construction, if you're looking at resale homes that's like 2015 plus and up in year built. You can find properties and opportunity right now, in my belief, in Suffolk. And I've been watching it and been looking at the market every day and starting to see how these new listings are coming on the market and how many are actually going into pending. And it's not that many, which gives me pause here to say that Suffolk, if you're looking for opportunity to buy and you can make a commute, you may get a deal in Suffolk. There may just be a deal. Look at this. This is the only chart that we've looked at so far that it has crept into the blue line. Remember what I said? 4 to 6 months is a representation in the Hampton Roads area of being a buyer's market. And look where the chart lands at this month, in that blue territory. So, I don't know. Maybe want to start looking at some of those moving to Suffolk videos that we've been making. There may be an opportunity there from some of those opportunities for you to take advantage of. And we'll get into a lot more of that information here soon. But let's look at Portsmouth, and then we'll head on over to the peninsula side. So let's look at Portsmouth first. We'll check out this one. You'll see that Portsmouth is down 2.2. And then you'll see that the settled sales is down 20%, 24% year over year. You'll see that the new listings in Portsmouth is up 80% month over month. Wow. And 22.3% year to date. And new listings in Portsmouth is at 5.1% month over month, 20% year over year. And you'll see that was a 31.4% increase month over month and almost a 60% increase year to date on Portsmouth's monthly supply inventory. Wow, 3.8 months worth of supply, which means that they're creeping towards being in blue territory as well too, which means that there's almost a buyer's market about to happen in Portsmouth. So that's something to pay attention to as well. Now, let's head over to the peninsula side. Hampton, we're going to go over there first. And we're going to take Portsmouth off so that way we don't get no mix of numbers. Okay, so you'll see that Hampton has seen a median sales price increase of about 4.5% month over month, 6.7% year over year. Number of transactions down 10% month over month, almost 11%. Median days on market has increased by 33 days month over month in Hampton, from 26 to 34. You'll see that the new listings in Hampton has increased by 41.6%. And then you'll see 27.6% year over year. Then the active new listings in the market is at 13.2% for active inventory. And then it was up 27.5% year over year. And the months of supply is up 3.3 months of supply, which is a 27% month over month increase and a 30% increase year to date. Now, I'm not really surprised by these Hampton numbers. They are starting to do a lot more transactions out there. I know this 10% shows that right now, but I actually have 3 deals that's going on in Hampton right now. And I'm not surprised, but I can see the activity level that's going on in Hampton right now. And there's a significant days on market happening over there. So if you're looking for buying opportunities as well, I would imagine that there'll be a lot of opportunities in Hampton, especially as this expansion of the Hampton Roads Bridge Tunnel continues to happen, and it gets closer to being finalized. I think you're going to start seeing a lot more people move that way. Now, 2027 is the executable date where they think this is going to be finished at. It's been like a 4-year project that they've been working on. So we'll see how that plays out as well. Let's take a look at Newport News. So looking at Newport News, you'll see that Newport News is 253,450, down 13.4%. Settled sales is down 32% as well, month over month. And you'll see that the new listings in Newport News is up 42%, almost 43% month over month, but down 4.8% year over year. Newport News just keeps on turning out the new listings. And then they active inventory is up 3.3%, up 16.7% from year over year. And the monthly supply is up 54% to 3.3 months of supply. So Newport News staying steady in their growth and what's going on out there with their inventory, which is interesting. But let's check out Williamsburg. I'm interested to take a look at that one just to kind of get an idea of what's going on. Williamsburg is up 3.2%. Median sales price is 73% up year to date from January. The median sales price in January at the beginning of last year was 270. They must have only had no transactions. You see it's only 3 transactions, so it's up to 470. And then the median days on market is 20. And you'll see that the new listings is up 9.1%. And the monthly supply is up 7 months. I don't know if that's accurate or not. I mean, it's only so many houses in Williamsburg that's actually up for sale. So this is not really a good indicative number for Williamsburg. I think that is a little misleading, and I don't want to give bad gouge here. So I think we had to do a little bit more research into Williamsburg personally before we can get those numbers. I think those numbers are just not where they need to be at. So what do you think? Comment down below. Let me know what you thought about the inventory levels that we have seen across the Hampton Roads market and where things are really going. I'm surprised to see a lot of those inventory numbers go higher than they are right now. Not surprising though, because it has been a steady competitive market for buyers and sellers. So I'm just not really surprised. And I think that's something just to take into consideration as it goes forward. I mean, just what as a seller I can understand, what is the the next move that you need to make as a seller. And I mean, realistically, it's the same things that I always talk about. You have to price the home right, especially in a competitive market. But now in the balanced market in some of these cities, or even in a buyer's market in some of these cities, you're going to want to make sure that you are priced right, and you just can't throw a sign in the yard and hope that you get whatever you want, or you will sit on the market. And unfortunately, that's where we're at. Like, if you think that you're going to price your home $15,000 to $20,000 over market, buyers will let it sit now. And I think that is indicative of where we're at in the market, where one, mortgage applications are still going in consistently. They may be down, but they're still going in. Then, two, when you think about it, the interest rate level that you're at now, you have to be choosy on the price. Like, if you're spending $300,000 on a mortgage now, you're looking at that $300,000 as somewhat of a $2,400 payment in certain cases at this interest rate environment that we're at. So buyers are going to be more selective around the price points that they're in. So if there's competition in your market, and let's say you're at 300,000 and there are 6 other homes at 300,000, those buyers are going to be very selective about which ones they rank at the highest in their needs first, and then they're going to address their wants next. And that's going to be the one that they're going to want to write an offer on. And then if they can't get their offer accepted, guess what they'll do? They're going to slide to their number 2. They're going to slide to their number 3 until they get one of them off the market. And if your home does not fit in that category, being at the top of that list in their rank structure, you may want to think about pricing a little bit lower to incentivize buyers to show up at your home first before they go to those others. Okay. Then for sellers, if you're in a hot area, you want to take that into account as well too, like in Virginia Beach, like the Great Neck, the Little Neck area. If you're in Suffolk, you're looking at the Harbor View area. If you're in Chesapeake, you're looking at Hickory, Great Bridge, Grassfield area. You want to know these hot markets that you're in, because where that demand is at, buyers are going to shift their focus to those areas first because they want to get into those markets, especially when the inventory now is giving them opportunity to pick and choose which area to be in first. So you really want to pay that attention to and decide on what is best fit for you and your needs and your search for your home buying. Now, if you're a seller, you got to take that into consideration, because I want you to understand that if you take that knowledge and use it to your advantage, you can draw more buyers in, and you may be able to get more applications in as well too for offers, and be able to take advantage of getting the best negotiations as a seller into your hands by making sure that you're realizing the type of the market that you're in. And this is all predicated on how we address our sellers' needs before we ever put the house on the market with our pinpoint listing presentation and availability of what we need to get done prior to listing your home on the market. So if you're interested in that, definitely use our link down in the description and book that seller call, and we'll help you out with that as well. But then also, how can you compete with other homes on the market as a seller and not necessarily take your price down, but you want to minimize your impact of how long you're going to be on the market? One of the things is that you can offer some form of closing cost assistance, seller concessions, where you can help the buyer actually, cover some of the fees and charges that's going to come with incurring a mortgage. And that could be the difference maker between you and another home. Now, it's not saying that you have to do it, but at some point in time, you want to find ways to incentivize buyers to actually look at your home. Remember, you're fighting not only against resale in your local market, you're fighting against new construction in your local market as well too, in a lot of cases. And what happens is, in these markets, builders are going to incentivize buyers to show up. And when they're incentivizing buyers to show up, they're usually giving them some type of builder credit, or also giving them some type of seller credit by actually using their lender, title company, things of this nature, however they look at it, however they go about it. But they incentivize that to actually offset their costs to get their homes off the market faster. So you got to also remember that you're competing. So if your home starts to go past that 10 to 12 day mark, you may want to look at, is closing cost assistance from me going to help a buyer purchase my home and help me move into the next desired location that I want to be in, especially if you're building a new home or you're putting an offer in on another home and your offer is contingent on the sale of your home, things of this nature. You want to make sure that you have the best strategies possible before you actually put the home on the market, or know what your next go-to strategy move is if option A does not work in your favor like you assumed or you hoped. Let's talk and shift our focus to buyers, okay? With a lot of people will tell you that mortgage rate buy downs are prevalent in this market. I'm a firm believer in you want to discuss these things with your lender. I have a great lending team, and they will always walk you through the scenario if you're doing a mortgage rate buy down, how you could take advantage of it, or even if it's even important to do it. Because in a lot of cases, getting the closing cost assistance that you may need from a seller and applying that towards the fees that you have up front may be more prevalent than trying to get a better payment at that point in time. So, and in some cases, you may have to also increase the purchase price to get these closing cost incentives, okay? Now, what did I mean? Now, I like to always explain to buyers, you can always ask for closing cost assistance. It's always up to the seller to tell you yes or no if they'll offer, if they'll take it. Now, let's look at it. Let's say if they wanted you to increase the purchase price to cover those dollars that you're asking for in closing cost assistance, it's always best to talk to your lender to understand how much more your payment is going to be for the amount of dollars that you're asking for. Because a lot of people in their mind, they hear dollars and they go, no, I don't want to increase that. So $5,000 to you may sound like a lot of money, but when you put it in relative numbers for your payment, it may reflect about a $30 to $35 increase in your payment. So if you had to take on a $30 to $35 increase in your payment to get another $5,000 in closing cost assistance to help you close a deal where you don't have to bring any more money than what you actually need, would that be important to you? I think those are questions that you have to ask yourself, and this is why you need to work with a good lending team as well to make sure that those things are talked about, discussed, and make sure that they're in the right market. Now, off-market deals for buyers are always going to be sweet deals if you can get them. Now, in my market, I'm always looking for an off-market deal for buyers because there always are buyers who are looking to invest, and there's buyers who are looking for deals that just make sense for them and their family needs. And so I'm always looking at off-market deals. What is an off-market deal? It could be a for sale by owner deal. It could be a old expired listing who may still be willing to sell their home. They just don't want to advertise it on the MLS. There could be numerous different ways to come across an off-market deal, and we come across them often in our market. So if you want to be access to our off-market listing deals, definitely shoot me an email down below and we'll add you to that list as well too. Then making sure you have your pre-approval as a buyer is going to be even more important than ever now. Why do I say that? We just looked at the number of amount of inventory available. So that means that buyers have more options at their disposal to actually choose from. And when they're going to write an offer, they're going to write an offer. So you don't want to be the one caught flat-footed when you want to write an offer and you have to wait for a lender to get you back pre-approved and things of this nature. And that time of the essence could cost you dearly. Now, my team, we can turn around a pre-approval within hours or within minutes. It just depends on how fast you can get the documentation over. So I really don't want you to feel that you have to worry about it. But when you're going through our buyer consult, we definitely always recommend, if you're not paying in cash, we want to get you pre-approved immediately. So that way we know how much you're actually going to be looking at, how much you want to structure your payment at, how much that payment is going to be able to make you afford and buying power, and making sure that you know what that looks like. So when we go out and shopping, you already know that you can factor that in, and then we can always go back and get you a smoother estimate for your offer that you're going to put in. So those are the things that I think that's the strategies that buyers and sellers need to look at as this market continue to trend the way that it's trending, especially while the inventory is at the level that it's at. So what is my market predictions for 2025 as it stands today as we're recording the January 2025 market update? Well, let's start with home prices. I continue to see home prices increasing as stable as it possibly can, maybe less than 1% a month, or maybe even about 0.5% a month. And here's the reason why nationally. The inventory levels are looking like they are increasing. I think they're going to take a little bit more time to get back to the old numbers of 2020. But let's talk about at the micro level in the Hampton Roads market. We are so insulated by the military presence that we have, whether it's the civilian DOD workforce or even the military community that we have in with this local market, that's going to be continuously moving and rotating in and out of this market. So I think that's going to continue to help stabilize our prices. And it may trickle down and slow down a bit in the increases that we see. But I ultimately think that with the market that we're currently in right now and the interest rate environment is being what it is, the affordability factor that our military service members actually can incur in this location will continue to see that market price value of homes continue to slide in the scale upwards versus downwards. Now, let's talk about interest rates. I think interest rates are going to be very interesting here. I mean, really and truly what we're seeing with the movement on tariffs, we're seeing the movement in the stock market. We're seeing how mortgage applications are continually still going in, and the Fed is still waiting to find out, is the labor market going to soften, and will that actually help and cool off inflation? Right now, we're going in so many different ways as an economy as a whole that I really don't know if we're going to get a grasp on interest rates getting below 6% this year. Right now, it just doesn't look that way to me. I can see a 6.5 being the average loan application that we see on a 30-year fix. But realistically, if we can get down to 5, I think you'll see like a 5.9, 5.95. I think the market takes off even higher, and that means that home prices go a little bit higher. That means inflation goes a little bit higher, and I think we're right back into the inflationary environment where interest rates continue to stay above the 6% threshold for a while longer. So to me, I think that there may be a push to get down to the 5 area number, but once it happens, the market's going to push right back up, and we may even be back in the 7% threshold before. If you want to go back and look in last year's numbers in 2024, at one point in time, 30-year fix, they hit about a 5.9, 5.89 or something like that. And as soon as it hit, it skyrocketed right back to 7.5. So don't be surprised if we see that happen again in this turn of the market as well too. Now, let's talk about new construction. I think builders are starting to get a little bit uneasy. This is what I mean. Inventory levels are increasing. That means that resale is actually going up as well too. So the inventory levels from resale homes on the market is starting to become more available, and more loosely they're going to be very competitive against new construction homes. See, when I say new construction is going to be very competitive against resale, it would sound incredibly wrong to say something like that. But realistically, you got to think about what doesn't come in a new construction home. Well, it doesn't come with blinds. It usually don't come with a refrigerator. It's usually going to be missing a washer and dryer. But most resale homes will have blinds already. They'll have a refrigerator. They'll have a washer and dryer in most occasions. And they may have even a little bit more upgrades as well too, because the homeowners that's actually in those homes have lived in it well enough to where they felt like, you know what, I needed to make a change here. And it can be a little bit more customized for the next buyer. So when I think about what's going on with new construction incentives will still be in play, but I think the level of inventory that's going to be built and pre-built for buyers is going to be a little bit delayed. So what I think that you can see is going on now is that you're going to see builders going to be looking for more so buyers who've already bought the lot and already picked up their floor plan and yet have not built the home yet, versus the home already being pre-built and opening for quick inventory. So with this happening, I think buyers are going to start looking more so towards resale. And I think when they're looking at more in resale in the Hampton Roads market, you're going to see them starting to shift their focus towards single family detached residential communities further out, like Suffolk, Smithfield, Franklin. So when this is happening, you're going to see when those new builders are coming into play now, they're going to have to actually scale down what their incentives are, but they're also not going to have as much quick moving inventory, because when they have the quick moving inventory, what happens is they're paying more dollars on that value as now to the city, because now it owes taxes on it. So I think that's what you got to pay attention to when it comes to new buyers in this market, with new construction in the market as well too. Now, if you found value in any of this content that I provided you for January 2025 Hampton Roads Market Update, I want you to go ahead and hit the like button. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. And go ahead and leave me a comment down below on what was your most intriguing part of this video as well too. And like I said before, if you're moving in 9 days and whether you're moving in 90, we're here to help you make that smooth move to the Hampton Roads market. Go ahead and book that video call, schedule a consult with us via email, or go ahead and give us a call or shoot us a text as well too. It's been your host, Craig Houston, with the Moving in Norfolk team. I'll catch you in the next video. Y'all stay safe. Peace.